Hey everyone, how's it going? How is it going? Hope things are going well. We're going to be taking a look at SV06 ACE here. First, I have to do that quick little thing that I'm supposed to do, which is, tell people that we're streaming. Just normal things that I clearly am not you know, up to date on. That's okay. Good enough. All right. Um, Obviously, disclosure on this one first. Sovol did provide this to us for the purpose of this unboxing. No money exchanged hands. Yada yada. You can see I am literally already sweating. That's how warm it is in here. I have the AC on and it says it's the correct temperature, but I don't think me and the AC agree on temperature. I guess it is. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess moving the heavy printer was something. Anyways, let's get this thing open and let's get it tested. So I really want to see if the ACE can follow in the footsteps of the SV06 and the SV06 Plus before it, being what we lovingly called the Poverty Prusa, because, well, it was a Mark III, right? Those were very much the Mark IIIs. So yeah, if this can kind of trade blows with the Mark IV at the sub $300 price point, I think that it would be an incredibly compelling argument for someone looking to get a affordable 3D printer, and they would like it to be open source, because I am told that it will be fully open source if it's not already. So, bonus points there. As Tarzman says, he loves his SV06 and his SV06 Plus. I'm the same way. I love both of those machines. They don't hold up very well at today's standards. They just don't. But for the money, they are a very, very difficult, value to look past. So here's our packaging. As usual, Sovol has pretty serious packaging. They know what they're doing. 3D Struble says hello to everyone first to know today in Bavaria. Yeah, it's 84 Fahrenheit outside. It's 78 in here, which is 25, 26 C. So there is no snow here. We got ourselves a half-decent manual. As expected, we got to put this machine together a little bit. I've not watched any content on this. My understanding is that it is a clipper, bed slinger kind of thing, and it's currently on pre-order sale, whatever the heck you want to call it, for $279, which isn't bad. I see the first thing I got to do is go ahead and change the power supply to 115 volt. That's the big thing you want to check to make sure that, whenever you get machines like this that have power to either 1 230, you go ahead and make sure that it is in the appropriate things. So, got a box here. Going to have all of our stuff in it. So we got some tools, bolts, a wiper, a spare nozzle, likely a relatively crappy SD card. We got a 6mm spanner, so that's going to be for your nozzle. Got some garbage white filament that we can just throw away because we're not using that crap around here. Oh, we've got a, that's going to be tough to show on camera, but we do have a spool that is a roller, so that's actually kind of nice. So, give that where it's due. We don't need the power plug for right now because I already have one ran. Box can go away. Bag of parts. We got something in here. So it's the screen. It is the screen. Let's go. So it's supposed to be a Clipper touchscreen. I know, terrible sounds. In a nice anti-static bag. Not that I actually think it's needed for this, but hey. Put that off to the side because you never know when you need a good anti-static bag. Jose Colon says, upgrade Looks like a new clipper screen and nozzle probe and different cooling fan. And hey, that would be great. I mean, the SV06 and SV06 Plus were phenomenal machines for their time, for the money. I would like to see this kind of follow in that footsteps, and that is how I'm going to kind of like take this unboxing, right? We have to meet and exceed what the SV06 and SV06 Plus brought us. If we can't do that, I'm not going to like this machine. So if Sovol wants to call it under the same name, we got to make sure it can kind of follow in those footsteps. So I think that's an important thing if you're going to kind of, you know, put a naming scheme together that follows a brand of sorts, if you will. You need to make sure that it also looks good. So, ooh, all right. Let's switch to the top-down camera so you guys can see this. Check that out. We got a board here. So a lot of printer companies have went to this adoption of a style of daughter board. They're using a USB-C interface, it appears. So I've always liked this. I'm assuming this is CAN. It might not be. We definitely have a load cell here that is going to, you know, check deflection. Got a nice cooling thing and a very, very tiny, but I don't know what size this is. I am mildly concerned that this fan back here on the back, if it does ever fail, which it has a likelihood of doing, that it might be a real pain to replace. Would have liked to see a more off-the-shelf style fan. It's not a 50-15. It looks like maybe it's a 40-20, but it's a blower. Nice duct, a little far away from the nozzle, but hey, that should be fine. And look at that. I'm already starting to drop frames, so why don't we bring up command prompt and start that ping test while we're here. Because I don't know if we've dropped any frames because of that. Yep, 704 frames due to network lag. Sweet. Gotta love it. Yep, be some packet loss in this. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so we have 4 pinout here. That could be a USB pinout. It is not currently used. There's a magnetic cover that goes over it. I do like the magnetic cover. It's not very strong, so that could pose a future risk, but we will see. Yeah, so on the internet side, we'll talk about that as we're going through the machine. It looks like I'm going to transfer to a business line for Spectrum. They're still my only options, so, but I think a business line will work out. So we have a 50 by 10 millimeter blower that blows across this heatsink. Interesting way to do it. Most companies would put a fan here to blow directly onto it, but it appears that Sovol really wants to keep this reasonably compact, and I can't necessarily argue with that. So, yeah. Impressed so far. So yeah, there you go. Do not plug the Type-C cable in or out while powered on. So I'm assuming it is CAN. CAN would make for this then. All right. And we'll get that out of the way. That piece of foam can go. We've got, that's got to be our power box, I'm assuming. Can I take power supply out? I can. All right, uses a 3-pin XT60 style thing. We're looking at 360 watts of power, build volume of 220 by 220 by 250. A little bit small by today's standards. However, at the $300 price class, or right under the $300 price class, I don't think that there's really anything that's at this particular size. Oh, I see the webcam is still on. We'll turn that off. So yeah, let's get this top out here. So we went from a dual smooth rod to, I don't know, partially exposed smooth rods. I don't know how I feel about that. I got to get the rest of it together to really find out. My preference is much to deal with like LM8UU bearings and that kind of stuff, and not V wheels, but I recognize that there are certain price points that if you want to sell your product at $300, there are unfortunately corners you have to cut. It's got a cute little build plate, which again, it's a 220 by 220. So theoretically, it should accept all build plates that are Ender sized. So if you have an Ender printer and you want to use the build plates from it, theoretically they'll work on here. I don't have confirmation of that, but it appears that you'd have enough volume for that. So, okay. It's funny how lightweight, these, oh, yeah, and the same deal for the y-axis. This, like, partially exposed rod with V-wheel setup. I don't know how I like that. Let's get down to business to date. The Hans. No. We need to look at the printer. Vishal says V-wheels are cheaper than smooth rod bearings and same service life compared. At least they're so that is an overall win that it's not those plastic crappy palm V-wheels that we used to see back in the day. They're at least metal, so there's that. Certainly better than nothing, and I get it. We're hitting a certain price point, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be. All right, put that down there. I have yet to look at the instructions, so I probably should do that here, just so I can make sure we're going things in the right direction and way to do it. F said, I went ahead and surprised myself with an SV08 for Christmas. Bamboo is out of the question. And Vorn, I don't have time for the build. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. Vorons are a pretty time-intensive thing. So, Jose says, linear bearings are very loud, especially with clipper speeds. We'll find that out. Let's see. Hobby Hand says, hoping to see streams on multicolor. Suppose from FlashForge, but this looks interesting. So I don't have a contact at FlashForge. I would like to, because the 85M, my brother has one and absolutely loves it. We have lovingly called that machine the Poverty 1P because it's a P1P for $300, right? And it'll be interesting to kind of compare the 85M to this machine because they're both in the same price category. They both have the same basic price points. And we have the brand new 85M X or whatever the heck they're calling it coming out soon. So I think that might be, might be an interesting one. Why am I beeping? Oh, I see. Okay. I'm beeping for battery stuff. Bill Steele says, oh, wow. Looks like an antique Solidoodle in the corner. Hey, you're actually right. It's a Solidoodle press. You're totally right. It is a Solidoodle press. Which way is the door open? This is my first like consumer grade 3D printer. It is a Solidoodle press. It actually still has a roll of ABS up in the top. This thing is an absolute piece of garbage and ends up now being a set piece. So, yeah, good eyes on that one, Bill. Can you spot Crisis? There's a sealed game of Crisis back there, because we can run Crisis. It's a really bad joke, but we roll with it. Bill Steele says the new 85MX is awesome. 4 colors and all 4 rolls on the side. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see more about that. Would have been nice for 5, but 4 does seem to be the standard these days. So, I'll take it. I like the XL having 5, but 5 individual tool heads, yeah. And yes, Bill is the first one to ever identify that was an antique Solidoodle. We had people say that it was an antique printer and all that, but no one ever actually identified the brand. But Bill's an OG. Bill is not, a spring chicken to this industry, so maybe that's a little bit of cheating. I don't know. But, yeah, no, Bill stuff. And Bill, I don't know if you ever sent it to me, but I need your address and stuff for the filament. So I can send you filament. Hobby Hands with the $5. By the way, if you do want to support us keeping these streams ad-free, you can do so. You know, just looking for a couple of bucks every now and then to help offset the cost of keeping ads during the streams. Man, my work surface is dirty today. It says, love my 85M also. As a small business, Bamboo is out. $5 for no ads. Thanks, boss. I have to agree with that. You know, Bamboo with proprietary and all that jazz, it doesn't work for businesses. I understand that there are a lot of businesses that are okay with that. Certain businesses, like mine, are not okay with that. And that's fine. Everyone is allowed to have their preferences. Ooh, you get a nice set of tweezers in there. Hey, I'll take it. And I just mailed a customer one of these. So I got a new one to replace it. Now I don't need it back. We had an order come in at 1:30 in the morning, and it had to be out of the door by 4:30 p.m. the same day. I made it happen, but we were so close to missing the deadline for shipping that I didn't get all the support material off. So I literally threw a pair of flush cutters in there and told the client, I worked a miracle for you. You can do 20 minutes of labor. So they didn't seem to care too much about that since, you know, we got parts out in literally 14 hours, which included some design work. So, you know, take your wins where you can get them. All right. Just make sure I'm doing this all in the right directions and all that. You can see it on the top down here. All right, wants to do the gantry, control box, camera module, which, as a lot of you know, we don't put printers on networks here. That's not a thing that we do. So we will not be testing that feature. If that is something that you would like, well, you're welcome to test it yourself, I guess. This is not something that we will be able to test for you. This machine is not, you know, secure enough for our needs. And that's okay. Again, this is not, you know, slated toward small business, so it's not that big of a deal. Ashley's, oh, okay, they were talking about firmwares for the Mark IV, Mark IVs. I think I'm on the newest firmware. Mark IV. I really enjoyed the cancel object feature the other day. We were running some prints. We were running print farming for Maker Faire Orlando, which we were at on Saturday. And a print took longer than expected, and I was leaving in a couple of hours for the event. So I just went through and canceled a bunch of the parts that weren't going to be ready on time so I could get a few of them ready on time. Actually worked out quite well. I was very happy with that, actually. So, F-Sec, can anyone tell me what the purpose of the SV07 was? No, it's just another printer. Companies do a lot of things like that as a means to stay relevant amongst their target audience. So they might release what, you know, looking back at it, feels like there was no point to it. But at the time, there weren't really a lot of other clipperized bed slingers out there at that price point. So it likely doesn't have a massive market fit at the moment, but it will probably have one when you consider when it was released. I do personally think the SV07 was a bit of a step backwards for Sovol personally. You know, but yeah. RMSTRJIM. I don't know how to say that, but said, were you printing by object or did you skip partially finished parts? Skipped partially finished parts. Yeah. I wanted to leave by like 10 a.m. and so just canceled a bunch of the parts until the time for it to finish was, you know, before I wanted to leave. So it worked out great. We made like 600 parts, something like 8 kilos of filament. Pretty much all of it was printed solid, Jesse PLA, and then I used some random stuff that I had still from other brands. Which is funny because it is part of the topic of Print Fix Friday, where I had some massive issues with some Sparta 3D filament. And that is like the 4th or 5th time that I've had massive problems with Sparta 3D. So I will not be using their filament anymore moving forward. Bit of a bummer because I have some cool colors that not many other companies have. But you know, I need consistency, and that's just not there. So Mr. Grin says, got some PZ probes ordered yesterday. I'm just going to rock this a little bit, make sure that it is reasonably well seated before we give it the old torque-a-rooney over here. Relatively simple process so far. More reasonable than what you would expect. These machines are relatively affordable, so don't expect them to come fully assembled or anything like that. Again, Sovol did send this over free of charge, so, do that kind of stuff, Spectre V3i says, I don't know which knob comes with I have no clue off the top of my head, but I can do it. Did I get the MMU3 bundle? Yes. Apparently, all right. Works for me. If you got another way you'd like me to address you, I am more than happy to do it. That's not really a problem. So if you have a preferred way, just let me know, boss. For me. Okay, it is a locking system. Our USB is still on the back side of the printer. But interestingly, the SV06, it's over here. It's on this side, I think. And the SV06 ACE, they moved it over to the other side. At least it's USB, and it's not like a micro SD or something like that, so you can easily add a extension to it should you need. And again, for the $300 price point, there are some things that I'm accepting that I normally wouldn't like. But at the $300 price point, I think it's a reasonable accommodation, right? So like USB is in a rough spot. Okay, well for $3, I can go get a USB extension and duct tape it to the top of the printer, put it on the front by the screen. Who cares, right? I can put it somewhere where it makes sense to me. Would I have preferred the company to do that? Of course I would have. However, for $300, it's going to be what it's going to be. Does it have an AC bed? No. Not to my knowledge. Oh, God. Whoever said this thing is loud. Oh, there's foam on the bottom. I'm like, whoever said this thing is loud was right. No, there's bits of foam on the bottom of it. Nice little bits of foam, too. It's going to be a loud printer, but that's okay. It does come with a spare wiper. It's got a little wiper dingus back there. They have adopted a bamboo-style cut in the plate. Exactly certain why that's there. I don't actually believe that is required for operation of the machine. So I think it's just there for style points, which you don't really earn style points with a machine like this, in my opinion. You're buying a machine like this because you want a relatively affordable machine. You don't care too much about cost. And, you're willing to take a hit on the style points to get a machine that works well for you. It is nice to see a camera. Again, it's not that big of a deal for me. I'm not going to use it at all. But it is nice to see that. I'm glad that more companies are starting to implement it. I, of course, have some issues with the fact that it can very obviously see outside of the printer. So there are some, in my opinion, pretty serious security concerns, with that, with, just having a unblocked camera inside of your house. So again, grain of salt that for whatever level of network security that you run. That's my personal opinion. So, take it for what you got. Line said the board was moved to the other side because all the cabling runs down the right side where the camera's at and into the hot end. Yeah, but you could have easily done it down the other side too. So, be very curious to know why that change was made. It's fine. I don't really care. Oh, okay, well, that's why the fan's not on this side. They put the fan and then a little duct on it because that sits right up against the plate. That is a very interesting place for that. I don't know if I really like that. The heatsink faces away from the user. Let me show you guys here. I'll get you on the overhead here. Hello? There we go. So the heatsink actually goes up against the printer like that. So you won't be able to see the heatsink. So yeah, they put the fan like this simply because, well, they kind of had to. There really wasn't a way to do it otherwise. So, fine. Fine. Pull this thing back toward me a little bit. We've got, where'd those screws go? Okay, these are M3x8, it appears. More than sufficient for holding a hot end in. Ball end hex keys, again, not a necessity, but very, very well appreciated. It does make assembling these printers considerably easier. So, you know, big props to Sovol on that. You guys cheaped out on your bearings, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of that. I recognize that there are just some cost-saving measures, but at least you didn't give us crappy Allen keys that nobody likes. So, I'll take it. I like the single cable design using USB-C. I think that that is really nice. I would like to see more companies do that kind of thing. I think that it is a much better way. Even if you're not utilizing USB-C standards, having a single cable like that, to me, is just a better overall thing. Now, I will say, I'd be a little bit worried about this thing getting caught. Like, it could easily get caught there. There are definitely places where this cable could get caught, so you will want to make sure that that doesn't happen. It looks like Sovol has attempted to do some sort of, you know, protection for that cable, but I don't think it's going to be a perfect thing. So just keep an eye on your machine just in case. Actually says, I wish Prusa would have used USB instead of the super thick boy. I agree. I really would like to see Prusa convert over to the USB-C standard. It doesn't have to be CAN. Again, you don't have to run CAN. You can just run wires through it. CAN is easier, right? Or a version of CAN. It is easier and, in my opinion, better. But, yeah. Got a lot of people asking about the nozzle. Berlin asks, is it a volcano-like nozzle? Nope, it is a regular nozzle. When I look down it, I can see straight out the hole, so it is not a high-flow nozzle. So if you do want this thing to run even faster, you'll be able to put a high-flow nozzle on it, and life, theoretically, should be good. What does the power supply need? Let's figure out what the power supply needs and wants. That's the M40s. Okay. The biggins. Move that printer to face me. We've got it on the right voltage class, which is good. Got to find the right location for the bolts. And we'll get it installed. Sorry for being a little bit mumbly-jumbly today. My neighbor was outside with his blown big block Camaro, so we were talking cars for a little bit, and I lost track of time, so that one's on me, but I had a bunch of fun, you know. Talking about doing a some methanol injection on it because he's having issues with it overheating at stoplights, because it is a 540 cubic inch motor with an 871 blower on it. Like, it's insane. And it's only running 7 pounds of boost right now, so it's got a lot more horsepower on the table. So, yeah. He's just trying to decide what to do. He was testing his battery and his line lock in his driveway. So yes, he was doing burnouts in his driveway. What did I just click? Oh, nothing. That's my battery. That's my battery telling me that it is transferring back and forth between on and off grid. This was always the hardest part with these machines. Was dealing with this freaking power supply and getting it to line up properly. And, like, there it goes. All right, I got it. It's always the hardest part. Newstream says, Sovol font is awkward. Imagine how many more printers they would sell if they hired a good Danish designer. Well, I mean, if we go about that way, imagine how many printers most companies would sell if they hired good designers. How big is the radiator? Maybe he should increase the size of it. It is a 4-core radiator. I mean, it's a pretty, it's like a 2-inch radiator. I mean, it's pretty serious. It's got 2 big fans on it. We talked about increasing the voltage on those fans, try to get them to spin a little bit faster. But I think he's just going to go to a methanol injection. That'll also decrease his intake air temperatures and things like that. So yes, Florida man puts car on meth would be the headline that you would like to hear for that. That's a very common thing, though. A lot of race cars will do it. But he's going to use it to decrease intake air temperatures, which should decrease the combustion temperatures as well. So he was thinking about doing a multi-stage system so that when he puts his foot to the floor, it will inject. And then also when it is not moving, when it's sitting idle more than X amount of time, it will inject as well. But he said, yeah, once he's driving, it's not that big of a deal, but long stoplights and stuff, it's a problem. Encoder overload, you're fine. You don't have an encoder overload problem. You're literally fine. You're fine. Don't whine at me. You're fine. All right, last 2 screws for the top-mounted spool holder. I think I've talked about this before. Not a huge fan of the top-mounted spool holders. There's just, I get it from a, hey, it's an easy place to put a spool, but it does give your printer a bit of the Dolly Parton problem. It makes your printer quite top-heavy, and, well, that's got some side effects to it. I don't think I have any printed solid filament out here, so I'll have to run inside real quick. What are you guys feeling for colors? What grab to test on this? We're going to grab a printed solid filament color. So what color do you want to see tested? Spectre V3 Eyes, if I've printed anything for it. No, not yet. I actually don't normally get out and over to his yard before he shuts it off. But really nice guy. His name's Mike. Worked for over 30 years in the drilling industry for wells and sinkholes and that kind of thing here in Florida. Recently retired and has been thoroughly enjoying building cars. I mean, he's enjoyed building cars for many years prior to that, but certainly have enjoyed building them more recently that he's got time. Russ with the $10. Thank you very much, sir. And of course, hey, if you do want to support the channel and the efforts that we do here, you can do so. A couple of bucks kicked during streams helps out a ton. Red goes faster, Mullet says. Red is transparent for testing. That makes it very difficult to see on camera. Ashley says purple. Royal Red Elixir. No, we're not going to be using Elixir to test with. That's a little bit unfair to the printer, in my opinion, because like the printer would have to be pretty well tuned to run any of the elixirs, and because I don't have a lot of experience running the elixirs, nope, that is backwards. A lot of experience running the, how the heck does it want you to, I guess it wants you to do it like this. Running the elixirs on, brand new machines, it's not a risk I want to take. So that could offset results and give, not the best case scenario, but I refuse to use that crappy white filament that comes with printers. That's just garbage filament. Nobody should use it, in my opinion. All right, so this like slides in and then clicks in. I don't know. I'm going to set the printer like this just so I can look at this a little bit more here. I'm going to swap you guys to the top down here so you can see what's going on. Yeah, Berlin says a gray. I will see what grays that I have in PLA. I know I just got rid of a bunch of them. So, okay. Looks like that's the way it wants. There's markers. Cool, cool. Do you click in at all? I guess you just sit like that. Sure. Yeah, just kind of sits like that. There is another cable mount for it, so we will go ahead and put that on. I'm just not... I guess it's kind of expecting you to do it like this. Guess. Sure. It's not how I would do it personally, but okay. I mean, I'll do it this way. Ribbon cables for screens, I guess, are acceptable. Again, I'm not a huge fan of ribbon cables in general. I think that they're exceedingly delicate for 3D printers and for people that need to put printers together. Like, you know, I'm a little bit of a klutz with this stuff, as you guys have noticed. You know, so I don't necessarily trust myself, let alone the average person, to get that one right. We got some pre-sliced G-code on the printer. I'm gonna go grab maybe some sort of interesting color that we have from Printed Solid. New Stream says, what's the most expensive filament one could print a Benchy with? Prusa tungsten? Oh God, no. No, I could print it with I mean, I've got some Ultem inside, but it won't. No, there's no way this machine can print Ultem. Like, not a chance. Not a chance in anything. Clean off the bed quick. A lot of people use alcohol for first time. I normally use these like Lysol wipes. It does a very good job of getting off any grease and oil and things that might be on it. Obviously, do this at your own risk. You can use alcohol or other ways to remove grease and oil, but I do think that is a requirement. All right, let me go grab a roll of some nice printed solid filament. It's just on the other side of this wall here. It won't be but a minute or... Okay. Fun colors do we have that are... I don't want to open up a color. It's like I just burned... Huh, it's fine. I can see my red eyes. So if I find... I got white. Design might actually be the right color. I know that I traditionally do really hate Filament, but Printed Solid's design is not your average. Oh, you know what? There's a great. It's tan 64. Tan 64. Tan 64. Tan 64 is a perfect color for testing. Tan 64 works great for testing. Oh, the sound is... I'm not even that far from my the thing. I'm sorry. I didn't realize sound was dropping. Yeah. Oh, it's been dropping a bit all stream? Really? It's like I can see the receiver. If there is more issues with that, please let me know, and I will switch to a room microphone. So just let me know, and if I need to, I will switch to a room microphone. All right. See if we did it right. We got the Sovol icon on the screen. Oh, here, Ashley, just for you. Do the screen peel. There you go, Ashley. You're here, so that one's just for you. Huh. All right. If there are... okay, it's only a few times a minute. Give me just a second. I'll reset these microphones, and I will see if that helps. It's going to take me like 30 seconds, if that. Mic check. Mic check. All right. They are resynced. So if it continues to be an issue, just let me know. And yeah. If I'm dropping frames, that's one thing. There's nothing I can do about that. We've dropped about 1.6% of all data sent, which sucks, but really nothing I can do about it. So let's see about zooming in on that screen for you guys so you can see the screen. Hey, that's actually pretty right on par there. Oh God, hit the camera. All right, start English. Okay, you're just gonna straight show all of my networks. That's cool. Love that. Whatever. Self-check's gonna take 15 minutes. No problem. All right, here, I'll zoom back out so you guys can see it. Bill Steele says, just bought one, says they're in stock in the US. I have a bunch of SV06s in the farm. Work great. This might be a good upgrade. And that's kind of where I'm going with this, that this could be a... Oh, look at that. Already, that cable was about to get caught on the filament sensor there. Bill Steele says, I know his password now for prosperity. It's that. Good thing you can't see the secure network out here. I am having packet loss issues, to be clear. That is a consistent issue right now. We're up to 2.4%. But sorry, guys. I'm going to do my best to get that solved, but it's not in my hands. It's in the hands of Spectrum. So, yeah. Boy, that Z-axis moves like it's paid by the hour. Like, real tough. Real tough. What is going on? Okay, the sound is more stable, but my internet isn't. Jeez, man. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We'll call Spectrum again. It's fine, I'll call him after the stream. This shouldn't be a very long... Oh my. Wow, that's a loud fan. That fan is really loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That is a very loud fan. Holy crap. All right. I'm guessing it's just some sort of PID tuning stuff. So. Has the printer got an Ethernet port, or is it only Wi-Fi? That's a great question. It appears that it is only Wi-Fi. I do not feel or see an Ethernet port. Let me see. It's got 2 USB ports, so I don't know. Maybe it could do a... My mic is muting it. Okay, well, that's expected. I'm seeing if it has anything there about filament runout, or if there's filament runouts, anything about Ethernet. No, I'm not seeing anything about Ethernet. They want you to use Orca Slicer. You apparently get a subscription to Obico with it, which is nice if that's your kind of thing. If you want to use Obico, it's like right there, and you can work directly with it. So, cool. You know, can't hate that. It does come with some extra grease, which we're never going to trust. I'm assuming it's doing some PID stuff, just checking fans and heaters. Those that don't want the camera or light or any of that, I've left the plastic cover on the camera still, which I think is plenty appropriate. Oh, neighbor's got the car started again. Can hear it. You all won't be able to hear it though. You know, I always get a bunch of like phone calls and emails when I'm like streaming. It's always funny when that happens. Sad face, but a USB Ethernet adapter, I think, can work. Well, I don't have one. It's only USB-A, but there are 2 USB-A ports, so it might work. Gator asks, what's the bed size? It is 220 by 220, and it's 250 in the Z or Z. Which, again, for the price point, I think that's perfectly acceptable, right? The other big printer in this price category is the FlashForge 85M. And if memory serves me correct, it is identical in its build volume. Now, the 85M is a Core XY. Oh, I'm like, why do I feel anything vibrating? We're doing vibration dampening. So we're doing input shaping stuff. It comes with 2 different greases. What is this? This must be thermal for the hot end. It is nice that it does come with the right spanner for the hot end. Comes with this little paint scraper doodad. You can see the spool moving from the whole printer vibrating. That's hilarious. Oh, that's pretty funny. That was cool. That was cool. Yeah, look at that. More packet loss. Let's go. Yeah, Berlin says the same as the SV06. I am hoping that they come out with an SV06 ACE Plus. That's a terrible name. I would like to see a bigger bed size. I think that 300 XY, even though it's a bed slinger, which I know the way people feel about bed slingers right now, I think that having a larger bed slinger at an affordable price is a phenomenal option to have. You know, I think Bamboo's kind of shown with the A1 that sub $500 you can be pretty successful. So yeah. RM Jim says packets are for suckers. Yeah. Yeah. 4.5% packet loss, by the way. Gotta love that. Got to love that. So it's doing the booping routine. I wonder if it's gonna, I mean, it's probably gonna have us do Z offset, but I'll be curious to see if it does. Oh, okay. Well, now the bed is operating like it's paid by the job, or the Z's operating like it's paid by the job, not by the hour. We don't got time to wait. Moving the extruder. I'm guessing it's still a planetary drive extruder. I'm assuming the extruder is very similar to what it was previously. And if that's the case, it was a pretty decent extruder. I had very few issues with it. They ran a very high planetary drive system, so. Interesting. Are you... What do you... I don't know if it's cleaning the nozzle or it's grinding it, but neither of those are very good for a brass nozzle. Maximilian says, what's your thoughts on getting this when I'm happy with my original SV06 running Clipper? I can't imagine there's a big difference between the two. I mean, I guess a built-in camera, but I am very much of the, cart of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and maybe look at a different printer. If you like the SV06 and you put Clipper on it and it all works great, dude, yeah, I guess, you've got the nozzle probing, but they're, whatever Pinda probe clone they used for the last machine worked just fine, right? I like that this bed doesn't have the freaking cross-hatching on it. That's nice. Cooling is definitely better, yeah, but I think a lot of people that have SV06s upgraded the cooling. So it does appear to be better cooling, though. And that's fair. Good point, Max. Actually, when I shared my purple Prusa on the Prusa page, they pointed out my Z-nuts were upside down. I forgot I did that with the Mark IV. Those don't get touched in the Mark IV's upgrade. Yep. So I guess we're doing some sort of a tramming routine. Oh, that might be for the Z-axis. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Why does why does that battery keep beeping? Let me is it just because we went back to solar only? Let's see. Let's see why that thing is beeping at us. Yeah, okay. So we went back to solar only. That's why it was beeping at me. And so we're going to draw the battery down. Then it's going to go back to grid tie plus solar. Yeah, okay, that's normal. The new printer has auto Z offset. I don't know. We're going to find that out here in a little bit. It's doing Z-axis tilt calibration. It says it right on the screen. So that's pretty cool. Here, I'll let you guys see that. You know, Z-axis tilt calibration. So if it can do Z-axis tilt calibration, my assumption is it can probably also do auto Z offset, which would be really nice. That would be really nice to see. On a $300 printer, that'd be incredibly nice. I don't... Yeah, there are no thumb screws on the bottom of the bed. All sensorless homing, so that's nice to see too. Ender 3 SE is under $200, has auto Z. Wow. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to the new Enders out of Creality. To be real honest, I don't know. I think Creality deliberately makes them a little bit difficult to understand. And so people end up buying like Gen 1 and Gen 2 Ender 3s, expecting them to be like the Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5s that are much nicer, or whatever the heck generation we're on now. Max said if they would sell it for 200, I would probably get one for playing. I totally agree. I think at 200 bucks, this would be a very, very compelling deal. But actually saying that the Ender 3 SE under 200 has auto Z, but it's not Clipper though. You need the KE to get the Clipper. So you know, I think it is difficult to recommend a non-input shaper printer these days. Beauty Print with $5 says, sorry, I'm late. Did you break anything yet? Not yet. Give it time. Just give it time, boss. Give it time. The night is young, and I am, according to my comment section, an absolute moron sometimes. So, you know. Nick T says Auto Z is for lazy people. You're not wrong. Technically, I agree with you. However, I think Auto Z brings a lot of value to first-timers that don't understand Z offset and would traditionally completely obliterate that. So, while I don't disagree, I think it is very much for the newbies. I think it has good reason, right? And, well, that good reason matters. So now we're doing bed calibration according to the screen. Ashley says their go-to printer right now is the Ender 3 KE. Yeah. I guess I need to get one because I don't have one, so I can't really compare it. Bearder Printer says, I've been a moron in the past for many reasons. I'm a moron today for different reasons, some of which I still have yet to find out. Amen to that. He says, wait, it doesn't have input shaper. Yes, it does. It has input shaper. I'm saying the Ender 3 SE doesn't have input shaper. And I don't think the company should be selling printers without input shaper in 2024 and 2025. Every major printer has input shaper. So, yeah. Actually said it takes me way too long to get the Z done on my Mark III. Fortunately, it doesn't need it often, but it's one of the many reasons why I love the Mark IV better. I have not messed with the Z on my Mark IIIs in years. They don't move. They stay where they are. And I've got the different beds set, so it's nice and simple. You said what rhymes with Voron? Moron. That's right. I'm a Voron moron. In fact, that Voron is still behind me. I want to try to pick that up before Smurf, but I'm not certain we're going to get the time to do it. We've got some other streams we need to get done as well. I want to start streaming more often, but I'm so busy right now. So busy right now. All right. We're done. Self-check is complete. Clippers connecting. Let's see where we get it to. Clippers connecting. Okay. Power to Z. Oh my god, instantly it shows you all the Wi-Fi networks it can pick up. I don't like that. All right, so we'll go to 200 on that. 60 on the bed. Seems like the machine heats up pretty quickly, so no hate there. No hate there. Nick T said, but most Prusas didn't have input shaper until recently. Yep. Yep. And that was a big gripe that I had. I think that's a very fair gripe with Prusas that they don't have input shaping. Or they didn't. They do now. Okay, I gotta home everything first. Fine, we'll home it. Tina Schultz says, hi from Ireland. How you doing? How you doing? That's not a Ireland thing, but, you know, whatever. I've realized recently that because of YouTube, my brain-to-mouth filter is not very much intact, and that can get me into trouble. TLDR, don't ask why a bulldozer smells like marijuana, or someone will threaten to end you. And then, for some reason, make it political, which was interesting. And, oh yeah, the cops don't care about that. Fun times. Looks about 20 millimeters every time you put the Z up. Filament. It is PLA. Load filament. After inserting the filament, click confirm to continue. Great. That is a really simple process. Hats off, Sovol. You've made the process of loading filament considerably easier. Credit where it's due. There was black filament loaded in the machine. Now it's going to go to, well, I mean, okay. So we can manually just push it through. It says. Or maybe we can't. I don't know. I wish there was an easy way to just move filament through the hot end. But other than manually spinning this, and it spins quite quickly, so it's not all that simple. There does not appear to be an easy way to do that, so we're just going to manually do it ourselves, I guess. Less than ideal, but I guess it gets the job done. All right, good enough. Let's get that USB. Let's plug it in. We'll go from there. So far, experience has been pretty painless. Again, credit where it's due. I think Sovol's properly following in the footsteps of the SV. What? What battery? What? Ah. Okay. Yep. You're charging from the wall. Got it. You're only going to 25%, which is very funny. All right. USB. We have a 13-minute Benchy. Okay. Let's do a 13-minute Benchy. It would be nice. Oh, at 0.25 millimeter layers. Come on. Oh, God. Oh, my God. That almost hit the camera. Should have known that. So, Here you go. That's a little tilted. There you go. Is that brown? It is tan 64. It's tan 64. And who said that? Nick T said, always wondered why all companies test with black, because black is the cheapest color to make. If you're going to make colors. Otherwise, clear or natural is going to be the easiest, but black is often the cheapest filament. I don't know what's going on. Oh, we're extruding a bunch of filament. I don't know why. But, okay. Yeah, we just pooped a bunch of filament on the back of the machine. I guess that was maybe to, like, the nozzle was clear. Now we're dragging the nozzle across the build plate, which is steel. That's steel and Ultem, where the where the nozzle's brass. You probably don't want that for reference. So, Berlin says extrude the filament via the web interface. We will not be connecting this printer to the network. We will not be doing any of that. So, no dice. Ooh, the light. We can turn the light on and off. Look at that. Ha, the fans are at a nice percentage. Hey, you know what? I'll keep that light on. That light is perfectly fine by me. So it's probing at 130. Bed is at 60. So it's going to probe at a lower temperature to keep it from oozing, which I agree with. That's fine. No issues there. It does have camp, so that's nice to see. So it's doing a smaller bed probe. So you're not wasting time. That's actually something the Mark III recently got, but meh. Ashley said, I thought the SV07 was downgrade. I agree. I don't think the SV07 was an upgrade from the SV06 and SV06 Plus. So. Peter Printer says I had an SV07 earlier this year. Ultimately traded it away. This one looks like a much better option. Literally, it can follow in the footsteps of the SV06, which we lovingly call it a Poverty Prusa. It'll be very hard not to recommend this printer. It is built very similarly to how we expect a Mark III to be built, but it's a Mark III with Clipper. And I think a lot of users that bought the SV06 put Clipper on it at some point. Now it's got a full color touchscreen. It's got a camera. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got actual USB instead of micro SD, which was a freaking nightmare on that other machine. So yeah, I actually really like that. And I also like it when you like the stream. So leave a like if you haven't, get subscribed, enter to win some printed solid filament. Once this thing starts printing, maybe we'll give away a roll. Loo. Okay, I assume I don't need to do a Z offset, so it looks like it's doing an auto Z offset, which is really nice. Again, it is quite loud, so be aware of that. The fan on it is really just whiny and drony, but because it does input shaping, and because it sets itself for input shaping, you could very easily are you printing right now? No, you're not printing. Nope. That's first print's a fail. Hello? Cancel printing, please and thank you. Cancel the printing. Thank you. You can't do a first layer at like full speed, guys. That's not how that's gonna work. Jeez, that first layer, man. That was rough. All right, I'm going to go get my Windex, which is like the way that I normally treat print beds, so that way I can like that I'm doing it precisely. One of the old paper towels that I used. So again, we're going to use the again, don't spray directly onto your build plates. Do as I say, not as I do. Wow, Windex is smoking. That means this build plate is quite a bit hotter than it says it is. I need to get a thermal camera. That's the thing I need to get. So, all right. You can try again, printer. Go put this back. Okay. Oh, did I not pin the link? Oh no, it's not pinned. Crap. Let me fix that. It's pinned now. Sorry. Thought I had it pinned. My bad. My bad. Yeah, I really want to get a an infrared camera. Because like to be able to register like printer temperatures would be very, very nice. Sector V3, I said I tried slicing the file with the high flow nozzle on the Mark IV SSG code is not fully compatible nozzle, is not high flow. Yeah, you got to make sure you have the high flow nozzle installed. Nick T says you need to buy a Cat S60 phone. It has a thermal camera built in. It should be cheap, as it's an old phone now. I'll look it up. If there's someone in our Discord that can ping me in like the YouTube talk channel to look for that, I'll look. Ref says no linear rails. It is a little bit different. So it's got it's kind of linear rails, but it's metal wheels on the linear on the smooth rods. So not my preference. I think that's a bit of a downgrade. So yeah. The first print was a failure. Okay, that's changing filament. That's fine. I want to make sure, I'm guessing it's not heating up enough or it's trying to extrude this too fast. So once it, when it starts to do its initial extrude, I'm going to bump the temp like 10C, thinking that maybe that's my issue. But that first layer is way too fast. Even like fast clipper printers do first layers much slower than normal. So, in my opinion. I want this thing to print. That would be ideal. But it's going to be what it's going to be. I like that it's got camp. That's nice to see. You don't have to probe the whole damn bed. And again, it's like less than $300, so, you know. Spectre V3i says, oh, just needs to check the nozzle. If I had a spare high flow, I would show you the difference. The high flow has more brass below the heater than the non-high flow. Clipper has adaptive mesh built in now. Yep. Oh, okay, so it's not camp. It is adaptive mesh built right in the Clipper. Well, that's nice. That's a feature. I still don't know jack about Clipper. That is still something that, like, scares the crap out of me. Clipper. All right, when are we going to heat up? You know, when you're a content creator, this does take forever. TT says it'll always be camp to me. That's fair. Brass, not copper. Yeah, the block is copper. Did I say it wrong? I'm sorry if I said it wrong, Tina. All right, 235. That should be more than hot enough, but I mean, I'll go to 250. I don't know if it's going to let me, but I'll try 250. Well, 235 might be that little purge area, and then it might change. It heats up pretty quickly, though. Okay, so yeah, it's now going to 250. That little purge area looks just fine. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. It was just a little bit cold, I think, for moving those speeds. Okay. We've got that first layer. She's going down. How's it looking? It's a little close, but because it's a that's a clipper printer and it's a textured build plate, that's all acceptable in my opinion. Okay. Well, hey, that's... Oh, there goes the fan. All right, my hand is off the table. So the shaking that you see is the table shaking. I apologize because it is going to shake the webcam. Let me see if I've got a better location for the camera. That's not one. That's not one. That's not one. And that's not one either. Okay, I don't have a better location for the webcam. All right, I'm going to move you guys. I guess this side is better because you have the little light shining on it. So let's move you like that. Problem is the big studio light that's reflecting off the build plate. So sorry. All right. Oh, it's at 210. It's at 200 now. We definitely want a little hotter than that, I think. But, I mean, all right. You do you. Oh, I hear things. I don't hear good things. I hear things, and they're not... That's not a good noise. It's moving fast. I mean, there's no denying that, but... whoop. Pushed you guys down. I was trying to set that to be straight. I keep hearing it collide with the print. And I'm kind of worried that it's going to knock it off the build plate. So, be aware. Check your slicer to make sure that the first layer settings are not too abysmally fast. Because right now, I think the first layer on this machine is way too fast. The fan is at 100%, so it's not going to get any faster than that. And at these print speeds, I don't think the cooling fan is sufficient, but we will see. We will give it the time to do the Benchy, and then we'll take a look. Beta Prince, let's just put some earplugs in, problem solved. You know, like, that's one of those weird things with these hyper-fast printers is that they've also gotten a lot louder. The SV06 is pretty darn quiet as far as, like, a 3D printer goes, but you're sacrificing speed. You look at something like the Mark IV's from Prusa, that thing is so quiet, I have to look back to make sure that it's still running. This printer is very loud. Like, if you had this in a room where people were, they would complain about this. Nick, he said it seems like a cheap Benchy. It is a cheap Benchy. It is 0.25 millimeter layers. It's running a weird infill pattern. And it's still a 13-minute Benchy. So, Hobby Hand says additional benefit of an enclosure. That's fair. But as we've seen, and we will see with the Prusa enclosure, because I do have one and we're going to be building it, the enclosures for bed slingers are really big. And they're kind of a pain in the butt. T. Schultz says bamboo loud. The fan is as loud as the bamboo, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's quieter on its XY movement stuff than a bamboo, but it also doesn't have that big case to resonate through. So there's that too. Here, let me turn. I'll turn off my my noise suppression here for a little bit. That way you guys can hear it. So this is without the noise suppression. It's pretty loud. If I talk at this is my normal voice. I talk a little bit louder for the stream, but if I talk at my normal voice, you'll see it's closer to my normal voice than I would want it to be. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the filter back on because if it's annoying me, I'm sure it's annoying you all. "3D Lab asks, what is the best 3D printer?" That depends a lot on what you want out of a machine. Right. Depends on your price point, depends on, are you okay with closed source? Do you prefer open source? What build volume that you want, what it needs to do. Does it need an enclosure? Is it Bedslinger fine or is Core XY fine? Do you care about companies spying on you? Like, that's, yeah. Yeah. Tim Schultz says, my Bedslingers, 3 switch wires are all enclosed and no problem. That's fair. Hobby Hand says, guess you're lucky if you have a dedicated 3D print room. Yep. Yeah, we turned I mean, literally like a spare bedroom or a spare, even a spare bathroom would be fine for a printer or two. Spare bedroom is great because if you need to have people over, because I don't know, I guess we're supposed to have friends in this world. You just turn the printers off, no big deal. Berlin said they should sell a quiet fan upgrade or take $20 more and be quiet from the beginning. Hobby Hands says even a spare closet. Yeah, a spare closet's nice. Dickie says, have you used your SV08 since unboxing it? A little bit, not a ton. We haven't had a use case where I would choose that over a different machine right now. And we've been running some parts for clients where I need like machines that I know are running right. And so we don't normally do a lot of printing on like review units and stuff like that unless we can, guarantee their accuracy. So Ms. Nick T says, quiet fans don't push any air. So that's the other problem. 3D Labs, I'm starting up a 3D printing business soon. Do you have any tips? There's quite a few podcast episodes about this. If you're looking for printers for your business, ones that are reliable, that have good customer support, that have, relatively affordable spare parts, and depending on the industries that you're going into, if you're making custom parts for people, you can't use bamboos because they're going to likely end up requiring you to sign a non-disclosure at some point, and bamboos violate non-disclosures. You can't use cloud servers or anything like that. You can run local. That's fine. But running stuff into a cloud server is not appropriate for most business class environments. But if you're just printing like, stuff for Etsy and all that, then yeah, I can see the value of putting things like a bamboo, P1S, P1P, maybe an X1 carbon or two. But I think the 85M would be a very compelling argument. Yeah. F said, quiet fans push air if they're big enough. That's fair, but, at some point you add a lot of extra mass for a fan that's got relatively high static pressure and static flow, but is quiet, Just strap a Noctua fan onto it, just a big one. But I guess you would need some sort of like a, like a duct or something. Lisa said, how loud are those metal wheels running on the rod? It's honestly, the fan is louder. I mean, it's loud, but the fan is the loudest thing. So the fan is absolutely the loudest thing. TT says, are you still using your Trident? I have not used it much. It still needs tuning. And I want to do that on stream, but again, the Trident is not where it needs to be for business class environments, so I'm hoping it will get there soon. Vector V3 asset, just buy 20 Prusa Mark 4S's assembled units and 10%, and a fifth, and a 5 tool head XL. I do like the XL for business class environments. I think that the XL is currently quite limited by its lack of decent cooling. The XL really can't run as fast as Prusa wants it to run, in my opinion. We are working on solving that, but I think it's going to be a pretty long-term solution to what should not have been a problem from the beginning. So, I love Prusas for business class environments. Prusa stands by their products. They do not make the fastest. I think they make one of the quietest. They don't make the fastest. They don't make the prettiest. Printers on the market, but they make the 90s Toyota Corolla of 3D printers. They ain't pretty. They ain't a lot of things. But damn it, they're going to run for 250,000 miles, and they ain't even going to care. So. Ashley says, why can't Prusa put the Mark 4S fans on the XL? It's a space constraint. It can technically fit, but it is stupidly tight, to give you an idea. Oh, there goes the Benchy. And it's over. Benchy's down. Cancel printing. Benchy down. Well, we can assess it. Okay, I can talk quieter now. Good Lord have mercy. We can assess it for what we have. So let's enhance over here and show this thing off. I need to move the machine a little bit so that the screen isn't just in the view frame here. So there's our Benchy. The bow looks like absolute trash. And, for a pre-sliced file, that was a little bit of shmoo left over from the nozzle. For a pre-sliced file, I do expect better. I expect a lot better out of a pre-sliced file. This is not a quality Benchy, unfortunately. Here, I'll go. Uh-oh. Jeez. You got a little angry there, camera. What the heck's? Yeah, so I can go a little bit closer for you guys. Yeah, not a huge fan of that Benchy. It needs a lot more cooling, and I think it needs to be, much hotter. Yeah, this is the worst Benchy that I've seen in a while. And you could easily argue that I'm not using Filament. Well, you're not going to use their Filament either. So, yeah. It did the bridge pretty well. I mean, that's not a bad bridge. The front is a little bit rough. Yeah, honestly, I'm overall not impressed with that. Where is... Like, the Mark 4S Bond Benchy, the 8-minute Benchy, looks, like, absolutely stellar. I mean, it is incredibly clean. Of course, I don't see it on my shelf. So, fun problem, when the storm came through, it knocked a lot of trees down. Actually, there's still a big tree down in my yard. And a bunch of birds don't have homes anymore. And so whenever I open my garage, a bunch of little birds fly into my garage, and they knock things around. And it's a pain in the butt. So, I don't like that. So, they're not a good showing, especially with an in-house 3D model. Yeah, I got to agree on that one. First layer looks good. I don't have any complaints about it. I want to retry this, but I want to try at like a 215 Celsius rather than the, like the 200 that it wants. Like, with how fast this machine moves, it has to print hotter, right? You just kind of have to. So let's bring you back to that one. There you go. Why do these bad fast Benchies mostly are too slim on the bottom? No, this one's actually got quite a bit of brim on it, so I'm not worried about that. Did I update the firmware? Nope, that's stock firmware. I was not instructed to update firmware, so I'm not gonna. Maybe firmware update to get better results. I don't even know how to do that on this machine without connecting it to the internet, so... where do I even go for that? Let's find out. Let's find out. Firmware download. It is not on their website, so I can't. So there you go. There is no firmware to update because it's not on their website. So I don't think this machine is garbage. I just think that it's stock. It's stock. Sliced Benchy is not designed to look pretty. Hobby Hand says time to 3D print some birdhouses. That is a future plan. I am really, really busy. Stock G-code is crap. I would agree stock G-code is crap, but I think it's fair to test machines with the stock G-code they come with. There is a slower Benchy that we can try. There's a 31-minute Benchy, which is like way longer than I want to go here. But at this point, I've pretty much already spent 31 minutes waiting for it, so... I don't think stock G-code is crap. Oh, here. Literally, there's the Mark IV's Benchy right there. Hold on, let me show you what, like, a proper 8-minute Benchy looks like. And yes, I recognize that it is a black filament. Oh my god, focus, for the love of all things that are holy. Alright, hold on. Let me just bring that out a little bit. So that's a proper, beautiful Benchy. That is the 8-minute bonkers Benchy from Prusa. Stock G-code. Yes, I used Prusa for this. The filament it came with. But that's actually decent filament. The crappy white that machines come with isn't. I don't know what Benchy this is from, but that is a Benchy. It's a silver metallic, so, there's that. EFF with the HUF 1000. I have no idea what currency that is. Can someone tell me what currency that is? Now I'm really curious. So I figured it out. Sovol is going for the loudest printer designs on the market. SV07, big blower, SV08, bottom fan, and now this. I mean, you have to play this weird game of, do you want a machine that's fast or do you want a machine with good cooling? You can't do both often, right? And machines that do both have supplementary fans, right? The X1 Carbon, the P1S, whatever. They have extra chamber fans, where this machine doesn't. So, it's Hungarian. Oh, that's cool. Nice. I didn't know we had fans in Hungary. Hungary? Might get that wrong. It's pretty dope. I love that we have people all over the world that are fans of us. I also have haters all over the world, so there's that. It's one of those things as a content creator, you have to not let it get to your head because it's really, really easy to have that get to your head, It's like, I'm Mr. Worldwide. No, you're not. Shut up. You gotta always play this game between of being humble, but at the same time, I don't know, professional. It's weird. It's weird. You have to play this weird game between being humble and being professional. All right, so 250 on layer 1 seemed to be good. Layer 2 will end up trying, or once it goes down to 200, I'm going to take it 215, 220. I think that is way more appropriate than what it is saying to do, so. Okay, that's stuck. Beautiful. The smell of PLA in the morning. So as soon as that temp starts to drop, now I will say it's hanging out at like 254 instead of 250. So, okay, there. Now it's going to 200s. I'm going to go to 220. So layer 2 is when it goes to 200. I'm going to go to 220. I think at these speeds, 220 is pretty reasonable. You guys have to tell me what you think. But I happen to think that for this kind of speed, 220 is pretty reasonable. Max H has $5. Time for a giveaway. You know what, Max? I think you're right. I think it is time for a giveaway. So let's do that. Let's give away some printed solid filament. Give away a roll here. See, Max knows what's up. Max reminds me, hey, you got to give away money from sponsors and stuff. All right. Let's get it over to the wheel of names. Control A, V. Little bit of shuffling action. All right, let's see who wins a roll of printed solid filament while we wait for this thing. It is sitting happy at 220. Let me make sure this person got it right. TT, you win yourself a roll of printed solid filament. Oh, that's the wrong color. There you go. So reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, Blue Sky, whatever. Yeah. Reach out to me. I had to give away my soul for a giveaway. Man, I gave that away a long time ago. Nick T said, what was the first layer temp? It wanted to be 235, but it wasn't sticking, so we brought it up to 250. And now we have our print temperature at 235. And as you can see, this thing is still just chooching. I'm curious. Nope, still looks like crap. Still looks like crap at 220 on the bow. Now, like you would think for stock G code that you would spend some time and tune it, but nah, Sovol didn't do that. I don't know. Bit of a bummer. Nick T said, wait, so it wanted to go from 235 down to 200. Yeah, so layer 2, it wanted to go to 200. 235 for layer 1, 200 for layer 2. So, I think for the speeds that it's running, that is way too cold. You know, we're running pretty much pure PLA. The only thing that we have in here is the color additive. Otherwise, it's pure PLA. There's no talc. There's no other additives or anything like that. So, yeah. I'm at 3D Musketeers on Discord. Yeah, it is a lot of drop in temp. The 235 is too low for as fast as that first layer is. And again, at 0.25 millimeter layers, you're at these kind of speeds, you're not giving it enough time to cool, in my opinion. It needs more time to cool down. So, I don't know. The bed is at 60. I do personally prefer 65, so I might just take it there, because at this point, in for a penny, in for a pound, so... I think 65 just grips a little bit better. So, Ashley says, if I recall, Prusa's 230, 215 temps in PLA. I'm not certain if that's accurate for the new high-speed stuff, but this is not a high-speed nozzle. At least, not the replacement one is not a high-speed nozzle. The stock one might be, but the replacement one is not. Max says, I remember the SV06 pre-sliced files were set to 170. Sovol and temp's not a good combination. Yeah, you know, that could be. It could just be that Sovol's using probably that clear white PLA garbage that I don't like, that prints at a much lower temperature. We're using Made in America quality materials from our filament sponsor, Printed Solid, who you can find linked in that description down below. And who enables us to have giveaways for you guys. So. At first, Benchy is not a perfect. Again, I need to get some time on it. Pre-slice code could be good, could be crap. We don't know, and I don't think it's fair to judge the entire machine on pre-sliced G-code. If we did that, then like so many printers that we find out to be absolute trash in the long run are wonderful machines in the short run. Because that's often how it works. Companies know how to make good G-code, but I guess Sovol is not one of the companies that spent a lot of time on it. And that's okay. Kind of is what it is. They've decided where they want to put their marketing efforts. SquarePeg says, how's the print quality so far? Not great. Trying to, like, the damn studio light in the background makes it pretty much impossible for me to show you guys this easily. So, I'm really sorry. But without the studio lights, you can't really see me in here, so. Yeah. Yeah, no, the Benchy has the exact same issues. I think going to a 0.2mm layer, it would look a lot nicer. But a 0.25mm layer at these kind of speeds, I think we're overrunning the Hotend. It sucks, but again, it's the first impression is tune your G-code. It's an SV06 with clipper on it and a camera. So, did you remove the foam? Yes, foam was gone. Is that high pitch whining the metal wheels? No, that's the fan. Why are they using 0.25 layer height? Probably to hit the 13-minute time frame. Yeah, I really don't hear the wheels very much, to be honest. Get some water if you haven't. When was the last time you had a drink of water? Yes, SquarePeg says, updooted. Updoot the stream. How many people we got watching here right now? 88 people watching, 38 likes. Yeah, that's gotta go. That's gotta go higher. It's gotta go higher. I'll say the machine is resonating through the table quite a bit. So I don't know if maybe putting it on a more secure surface would give it a better result. That's not something I can easily test at the moment. We will see if it makes it past the last time. So the last Benchy, which if you look at the top-down footage here, I'll zoom in on it. Last Benchy failed as it was trying to do the bridging across the top there. But as we showed, the bow of that Benchy is not great. It's got a lot of artifacting. I was wondering if it was just because it was printing so cold, but unfortunately that does not seem to be the case. Berlin says SV06 or the Plus if I wanted a quiet printer for adding clipper myself. I think bigger bed, better printer, but I would think at the $300 price point, Flashforge 85M is a very compelling argument. So, yeah. That new 85MX that they're coming out with seems to be a interesting machine. I want to get one. I gotta get with Flashforge. Yeah, I think this is just like how fast can we move a 3D printer, Sovol edition. So. I will say for a clipperized bed slinger with no extra fans, it's kind of where I, get it. So Discord won't let me send messages. You aren't accepting messages unless from friends. I know that's inaccurate. Did you put any A's in Musketeers? Because there are no A's in Musketeers. TT, see if you can just tag me in a server that you're in. But I know that I have DMs from people that aren't my friends on Discord because I've got a bunch of people that I'm not friends with. Yeah, let me just make sure. I don't even know where to look for this stuff anymore. Privacy and safety. Yeah, from what I can see, I don't have any of that stuff turned off. So. Did you just send me a friend request? Is that your actual Discord name? Is your Discord name what I think it is, TT? Is your... we're... Whoever did is... I'm in Annex Engineering with them. Hey, it finished. Nice. It worked that time. Okay. Yep. Your Discord name is hilarious. We have a Discord together. We're in Annex Engineering. All right. Hey! We got it. Nice. Nice. So it did complete. Let's go overhead. Complete. Hit OK. Oh, yeah. Nice and stuck that time. Unfortunately, results are about the same in terms of quality. So let's take a look. So yeah, we've got a pretty serious cooling issue there with the bow, but definitely that extra heat helped it out a ton. That's a weird Z-seam? Yeah, that's a weird like Z-seam artifact. For a 0.25 Benchy, that's okay, but yeah, you're moving too fast there, kid. That's not really acceptable. And sorry, my hands are all messed up right now. Been doing a lot of work and my skin is starting to peel, so sorry. Oh, and apparently my YouTube homepage just crashed. Cool. Give me a second. Gotta reload that. I need to be able to see the chat. Cruisin' Bill says the wooden printer bot from 2014 looks better. Yeah, but it's not going to do that in 13 minutes. That's something to keep in mind is the amount of time that it took. I agree with you guys. This is not, sufficient. I think with some tuning, it might be better. But, yeah, that is not a great Benchy for stock G-code. So... And it sucks because, like, the top layer looks okay. That's actually a little bit under extruded up there on the top. That's not proper. But like the top layer looks great. Like the top layer here on the deck, no issues at all. So yeah, maybe it's just got to not go, 18 times the speed of sound to print. It is definitely faster than the SV06, but yeah, that is that ain't great. Let me get a photo of that, because that'll be one that we can use for social media and all that. Because, yeah, baby's first Benchy, not the greatest. I mean, it's fast, but, really, what's the point of speed if you can't really do anything with it? It definitely needs more cooling. So, F said you can't even make out the sign on the stern, let alone the letters on it. You really can't with most high-speed printers, to be fair. And at a 0.25 millimeter layer, I don't expect it to. So, Cruisin' Bill says, was the pre-sliced model? Yes, it was. It was a pre-sliced model. It is printed solid Jesse's Tan 64. So, bit of a bummer. So, where did 3D... Bill said something about... Do you think Anchor Make is still going to come out with the M6 multicolor? No, they're not. No. And honestly, the M5C versus this, I would choose this every day of the week. This has a screen. That makes it infinitely better in my opinion. So. Theater Printer said, the only reason I want a fast printer is for rapid iterations of a design. I design something, I print it to see if it turns out. Having more printers won't make that process any faster. That's fair. Yeah, having higher speed printers would work. I mean, that Mark IV's is a great machine. It's just not cheap. We can try different code. Like, we can try the 31-minute Benchy, but like a non-clipper printer can do a 31-ish minute Benchy. You can do like a 40-minute Benchy. So, like, that doesn't work for me either. Is it going to tell me anything about it? No, it's not. That's a bummer. I really wanted it to print better. Okay, so the 31-minute Benchy is a 0.2 millimeter layer. So we got that. Why are the cables under the feet of the printer? Are they? No, that's how they go. Yeah, because they come from the power supply to the thing there. So, those cables are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll try the 31-minute Benchy, I guess. But yeah. Berlin says the Benchy slice with the newest Orca slicer. I don't have that, so we're not going to be doing that, unfortunately. Orca will absolutely crash the stream and cause this computer to completely wig out. It's an i7 7700 with a A320 or A350 AV1 graphics card in it from Intel. It's not designed to both stream and do all of this at the same time. So, yeah. I think that outside of materials, rating companies based on the G code that they sent is totally fine. So, and yeah, Ashley, it's old, but hey, runs pretty well. It's a HP Elite Desk that we have. Yeah, actually, I find that it's like, let me see, right now we're 36% CPU load, 40 to 50% GPU load. It's got 32 gigs of RAM, so it's only 31% RAM load, and we're pushing about 7 megs a second. So, it's a great processor for its time. It's a great processor for a time. How do you check it? You can check it in Task Manager. So. With a GTX 970. Let's go. Dude, at least go to the 1080 Ti. You can get 1080 Ti's for nothing. My main rig, the one that I run for my everyday, is a 10700K with a 1080 Ti for the Win 3 from EVGA. You can buy those cards for like $110 or so on Reddit right now, so it's an easy upgrade. The thing with this Elite desk is that it doesn't have a nice power supply, and it's a custom motherboard and all of that, so I can't add graphics cards to it that require external power without getting real jank. So we don't do it. But yeah, I run a 1080 Ti on my main rig. Our editing PC uses a 1080 Ti. Love them. Absolutely love them. In fact, my main rig and the editing PC are identical computer builds other than the CPU. So the editing PC has a 10400, I have a 10700K. So I upgraded the 10700K and put the 10400 into the editing PC. They both have the exact same motherboards, the exact same RAM, the exact same power supply, like down to the SKUs. They are identical machines. So in the event that I have a failure on my and salvage to keep the business running while we have YouTube down for a couple of days while I buy in parts. So, yep. Ash says, yeah, I don't buy desktops from HP or Dell because you can't upgrade them. This one was an end of life from a tech company that we got for $10. And I think for $10, it's a great machine. It's a great, great computer for $10. If you paid more than like $100 for that computer, it is not a good computer. Lewis says, just got here, so we're all listing our machine specs. Now, we were talking about the specs of the streaming PC here. He's got a AM4 5800X with a 6800 XT. I gotta be NVIDIA. My laptop's actually my fastest computer. My my scanning laptop's a 14700HX with a 4078 gig. Both of them are full power, so it's 130 watts on the CPU and 140 watts on the GPU, something like that. It's a monster. 32 gigs of RAM. It's the Micro Center HP Omen that I got for just under $1,000. It was a great laptop. Paid for itself the first time I used it, which is like, from a business standpoint, the thing you want. You want a computer to pay for itself the first time you freaking use it. So it still wants to go 235. I still want to go to 250 on that first layer. I know it's going to run a lot slower, but oh yeah. Yeah, that's way slower. That's way slower. Beer Prince says, I thought I was fine with AMD GPU, but then I got a 3D scanner, so now I rock NVIDIA. Yep. And just upgrade 80 gigs of RAM. Brother, that's a lot of RAM. I only have 32 on on both of our computers, so I need to probably upgrade it at some point. My personal, or my company computer, I should say, the desktop, probably should get more RAM at some point, at least go to 64. So. All right. So we're a lot slower on this, so yeah, I'll probably be okay at the 235 mark. This is a 30-minute bench. I guess we can turn this up a little bit, right? How 80? 80 gigs would be what, 30, so 2x16, and then 2x24? Yeah. Yep. 2x16, 2x24. That's how he has it. That's a weird stick of RAM, but whatever. It's what I like about the Artec Studio software. It does handling of RAM really well. I was just opening, before we started streaming, a 15 gig 3D scan, and it puts it all into RAM. Not a single problem. It was great. Max doesn't need more tabs than Chrome to fill that RAM. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of Chrome tabs. It goes to 210. It goes to 210 on the 30-minute Benchy. How is the 30-minute Benchy warmer than the 13-minute Benchy? That's ridiculous. That's dumb. Sorry. Sorry, that's dumb. That's dumb. How are you going to give me more temperature on the slower print than the fast print? Come on, Sovol. Well, we'll see. We will judge it based off of this. Which, like, it's too slow. It needs to go faster. Let's make it faster. I don't know. It's got a flux button for extra flux. I don't think you have a flux dispenser, so I'm just going to go with speed. Alright, it's about 125% speed now. F said because when you go slower, you have more time to cool, so you can go hotter. I mean, I guess. I should have sped it up to 1.21 or 121%. That would have been funny. But I didn't. I went to 125%. I'm guessing flux is going to be flow. I'm assuming it's it's an artifact from translation. You know, the funny thing is the fan's not running at full bore. It's running at 78%. So I'm going to turn it all the way up to 100. Oh, it's running a variable fan speed. So it's always going to override it. Oh, 16 plus 64. Okay. As they said, I assume it's sliced their high flow filament. Have push 40 at 210 on some filament, max 24 on others at 230. Yeah, I'm not going to run any fancy filament. This is going to be made in America, printed solid, Jesse, PLA. It's good quality filament. I don't want to run that, you know, translucent white crap they send you because I don't think it's a good indicator of print quality. All right, so it is at least going to full fan speed for overhangs. I want to speed it up more. Whoops. I want to increase speed more. All right, I've increased to 150% speed. We'll see how long this takes. Mind you, it takes it like 3 minutes to start printing. So, you know, that one's a little bit different too. It's funny, it's much quieter now that the fan's not running full blast. That's so funny to me. Checking my my power stuff here. Okay. Yeah, it's getting toward the end of the day here, so... Or the end of sun, so I'm only making 82 watts on the solar. Oh well. It's gonna be what's gonna be. I'm gonna turn on... timer function. There, 5:30, it'll turn off. Great. Is the printer larger, but the build volume the same? And this looks to be about the same size. 250 by 250, or 220 by 220 by 250. So, it's the same as the SV06 original. So this is a incremental upgrade. It's got Clipper, it's got the full color touchscreen. Theoretically has better cooling, but the pre-sliced Benchy is not going to win any beauty contest, to say the least. They're running really low acceleration. I can hear the acceleration for the for this 30-minute Benchy. So, but we did speed it up 50%. I might speed up even more, but it looks like it's running pretty fast now. I might go faster. What do you guys think? Should we go faster? Because, like, it's kind of past the part that's going to have a problem, so I think we should go faster. Going to 75%. I'm going to go to 215 on the hot end as well to give it a little bit of extra heat. Got to go fast, yep. Beta print just increases speeds until it starts skipping. Well, we saw it can comfortably print. It's just not going to look very good at those higher speeds. So, yeah, this is a much better looking Benchy. Like, this is currently passing my does the Benchy look high quality test. So, you know, we'll take it. I hate that this filament spool is right there, because, like, I want to stand right here, which means you don't see my face. So, I guess I'll stand off to this side, which means I can't see the bow of the printer. So, Theater Printer says, we need to jerry-rig everything like durability test with 3D printers. I mean, do you want me to go get, like, a Mohs hardness scale and figure out when the bed starts to make scratches? You know, is it light scratches out of 4 with deeper grooves at a level 5? You know, I mean, is that... Oh, do I have to scratch the screens? Are glass. I know they're going to scratch quickly. Like, what could you do jerry-rig everything style for this type of a test? I'm not actually certain what you could do. Huh. Also, I gotta make a holder. I got some old fencing foils that I need to get holders for out here, so we can put some fencing foils on the stream. It'll be fun. A good old nozzle drag test on the bed. Oh, God, that would hurt. A bend test. I guess like we could do like a, you know, does it wiggle? He's got such a nice setup. Like his setup is so nice. Doodle-it. Yeah, YouTube and Chrome have not been playing games nicely with each other recently with me either. Spectre V3I said his Chrome YouTube keeps running out of memory. Yeah, something about now that Chrome doesn't do the ad blocking and all that, I might be making the switch over to Firefox. I'm not 100% certain yet. Ashley, Firefox is better. I get it. And oh yeah, there might be another freaking hurricane coming our way, so that's cool. Looking forward to that. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. I got a bunch of stuff that's still outside that I don't know what to do with, so. I don't want Edge. I don't want to use Edge as a browser. It's just not my jam, man. Not my jam. Oh no, so like I've got my pharmaceutical grade fume hood is sitting outside. I think it's trash at this point. We've had a couple little rainstorms. That sucks. That thing is a lot of stainless steel. But I have a certified, well, was certified, ain't no more. It was a certified pharmaceutical grade fume hood for when we were making our own super glues. So, I'm a place to put my lawnmower where it's not going to get wet. That kind of sucks. Yeah, I had a 20-foot square shed. 20 foot by 20 foot. And it ended up in my neighbor's yard during Hurricane Milton. So, it's nothing I can do. It's going to be what it's going to be. So it says we're 41% complete. It says it's been going for 16 minutes, but I think the first 4 minutes are like the initial, you know, whatever it needs to do. I'm curious to push it faster, but I'm not certain how much faster it's going to go. So let's go to 200. And as we do that, I'm going to go to 220 on the temperature as well. Does Magneto X still live in the garage? Yes, it does. It does still live in the garage for right now. I need to get rid of my Fusion 3 F410. Once I can get rid of that printer, the Magneto X can go inside. I might just... So I'm looking to build a shelf over... I can just show you guys where I want to build a shelf. Nope, wrong way. This way. I want to build a shelf right there. That will hold printers out here. Because there's a lot of vertical space there that isn't being used. I've completely blocked the window that's there. So I'm thinking I want to put a shelf at like the 5-foot height. You can't buy anything that fits it, so I'm just going to build it, which is fine. Yeah. 3D Lab says, what's my favorite printer? Again, it really depends on a lot of things. I've got some printers that I love that the average person will not buy. Right? I love my PolyJet printer, but they're 40 grand. It's a great printer, but it's $40,000. I love my Mark IV, Mark IVs. I think they're great machines. So, do they use Z-Hop on the Benchies? Great question. Not that I can tell. I don't think so. That's kind of weird. You'd want it to. Huh. It's not rude to ask, what do you do with all the printers you get sent? Do you have to package them up and send them back? No. So the printers that content creators get, unless it's explicitly like agreed upon beforehand, we get the machines. They're mind you, we spend a lot of time. Like, I've spent 2 hours of my time. And with how I bill my time, like, if I'm doing 3D scanning work, I bill my time well above what this printer costs right now for 2 hours. Okay. You know, so there's kind of like this, look, if you want us to do a live stream with it, I will do a live stream if you send me a printer, right? Assuming it's a printer that we want. If you want to do like a more in-depth comparison and things like that, we might need some cash on top of it. If it's a review, there is no money, nothing like that. That's unethical and technically illegal as far as the FTC is concerned. But like, we don't really accept printers that don't really kind of tickle our fancy anymore. I've said no to a lot of machines, but machines that do start to age out of the shop, staff get first. Holy crap, he knows that's a red sale. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Staff get first right of refusal, so local staff get first right of refusal. So machines that leave the shop, staff that are local get choice. Otherwise, then staff that are not local, if they want it, they just got to cover shipping, and that's fine. And if nobody wants it for some reason, like I've got a bunch of broken printers that are just part machines at this point, they go to the local makerspace, and we take the tax write-off for it. So I've got an idea with this one. I think our editor, Andrew... Oh, it's too hot right now. I think our editor, Andrew has a regular SV06, so I think this might be a good upgrade for him. We'll see. I'm going to try to get a couple more of these from Sovol and, like, you know, do a pimp my editor setup, right, and give our editor Andrew a better SV06. And then there's a local kid who I met a couple of weeks back who wants a printer, and I think this would be a great printer for a first-timer, so we'll see. Spectre V3I says you should do a video on putting a Bondtech extruder and Mosquito Hotend on a Mark III S Plus. Works fine stock, so I don't want to do any of that. William Sue says Red Sail. Yeah, buddy. That's a Red Sail X700. I can't... You really are old school if you know Red Sail. That's a Red Sail X700. It's a 500 by 700 millimeter, 80-watt CO2 laser. That is currently suffering from the flat surface problem. That's why I want a shelf that I can put printers on, because I can get the printers off the floor, and I can put... Well, I've got, like... We've got a shelf for farm printers out here, but it's for farm printers. It's not for testing printers. So testing printers could go up there. That would be fine. So, Hobby Hand says school. We don't really have a lot of schools out here that want 3D printers. But if there are schools out here that want 3D printers, they can call me, and we will get them hooked up with that. So, good. Yeah, that Red Sail that we have has got to be 8-9 years old. It's on its second tube. The original tube is sitting over there. We're going to do something fun with that at some point. It's on its second power supply. I would love a new laser that's about that size, like a 500 millimeter, 700 millimeter laser. And just donate that one to the local nonprofit hackerspace. They could use a much nicer laser there. But... yeah, normal stuff. Just watched Mandic's video on the SV06. He printed an RC car. That's pretty cool. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched anybody's content on the SV06 ACE. I want it to be very much, you know, my own thoughts and opinions. All right, so I think we're hitting like minimum layer times, and so it's slowing down. There is some stringing. Ignore that. That's because I have the temp turned up. So I might... Do I have a torch out here? No, I don't. I brought it inside. So I might just torch the strings, but ignore the strings. I don't think that they're indicative of what this machine can do. We're running it at 200% speed, so it's going to be what it's going to be. We're at about 18 minutes total, if I assume it took 4 minutes for it to start. It's 63% completed. Like, at this point, we can pretty much judge the Benchy, right? Because the bow of the Benchy's done. It looks good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it looks more than passable. James Kerbal said that about Mandic. Okay. It's like the boring part of being a streamer is like I have to wait and find things to talk about. Feel free to ask whatever questions you guys want. We're just kind of hanging out, waiting for this print to finish. Maybe like 15 minutes or so, we'll give away another roll of filament. Oh, that's cool. Sovol actually has a picture of their motherboard with what it all is. There is no Ethernet on it. I didn't even see that on the last page. That's super cool. That is super cool. It's got USB OTG. It's got a USB-C port in there for USB OTG. That's interesting. Bill Steele said, I just donated 35 brand new and still in the box to schools. They were just taking up space and I never use them. It was nice to clean out some space. Yeah, I feel that one, man. TTS, if I saw that Big Tree Tech was releasing a new AMS system. Yes, I knew about that all the way back at Rocky Mountain. Knew about that back at Rocky Mountain. 3D Lab again asks if I plan on selling my 3D printed products on Etsy or Shopify. The answer is both. The answer is always both. So, Miles says, speaking of waiting and streams, did you get a reply from Cheaty, by the way, after the last stream? Yeah. Yeah, so they reached out. They invited me. I talked about it on Friday, too, in Printfix Friday. So they invited me to be one of their testers for their next generation printer. It won't be ready until, like, Q1 of next year. But they did invite me. They are not blacklisting any creators. They welcome that kind of feedback. And I once again made it clear that I don't believe that, you know, individuals, particularly content creators, and people that are spending money on your machines, we should not be beta testers. That's not our job. Pay beta testers. So far I've had a pretty decent back and forth with them. Now, it is up to them to now deliver on those promises, obviously. And from what some users have gotten, so we've seen the new SSR board hit users. It does not have a lot of that bodgy resistor garbage that mine had. So, Sovol is not, however, going to replace my Plus 4. I asked them, you know, hey, I can't keep it. I can't do any further testing because, you know, I have business insurance. They're not too pleased with the machine that I had to do mains voltage work on. And they said that their policy is one machine per content creator. So they said I can buy one, but I'm not gonna do that. Mallet says I'm positively surprised. I hope they pay you. Hope they'll pay you for a tester role. They will have to compensate me for my time. If I'm going to be doing that kind of work with a company that has, unfortunately, a bit of a reputation of having problems, they're going to have to pay me. So Cheaty's going to have to do that. So, it is what it is. Hyperbody says, I think Cheaty sucks at this point. No, I think they've made some mistakes. I think the way that they've handled everything so far has been less than ideal. But I don't think they've done adequate testing. I think that they make a decent printer. I've never... Like, that's the most problems I've ever had with one of their machines. And I think the chamber heater is a really, really big selling point of those machines. So, Max said, any news on Centauri Carbon? Elegoo has been quiet to me. Tanner 3D said, I'm interested in the new Flashforge 85X. Dropping in a couple of days. I am too. I got to reach out, see if I can get one. Jimmy said, is there any way to find out when companies do need beta testers? The only ones I found was E3D for the Revo. And he loves beta testing stuff. I don't know either. Yeah, I have no clue. Yeah, if the 85X is like more than 500, I think it's going to be a difficult sell for a lot of people. Because you could just do the 85M with an ERCF. And it'll get you pretty much the same thing. So I'm very curious to see their implementation of it. I'd like to get one, try it out, play around with it. So. Yeah, I think consumers have gotten used to paying very little for these machines. And so that's going to be rough. Ashley said, have I seen the new K2? Yeah, I saw that a couple people put out videos on it. That's about, you know, the extent of my looking at it. Again, I try not to watch other people's coverage of printers. That way I don't get too influenced by it. If it works well, it could be a very appealing printer for someone that doesn't want to support Bamboo Lab. However, is Creality any better when it comes to data collection? That's still to be seen. So, Tanner said reviews they've seen on the K2 have been mixed. I don't think those machines have been out long enough for a real review to even be possible, in my opinion. Ash said it's bigger than the XL and at the price of an X1 Carbon. Wow. But it's bigger than a 360 Cube? Seriously? That's a big printer. Yeah, interesting. Berlin says, from which manufacturer we get the first perfect working AMS from Clipper printer? I think you're going to get a working AMS that'll work with a clipper printer from Big Tree Tech. I think that theirs is going to be pretty good. Okay, the K2 is 350. Well, XL is 360 cubed, so it's technically a little bit bigger. Aurora Tech delayed her review. That's nice. You still have poop, which I don't like. I like tool changers, but it's because we do a lot of multi-material printing here. So, XL has minimal filament waste. We did a pretty big job. It was like 8.5 kilos for a client, and I think total we had less than 100 grams worth of waste between all of it. Like, of course, there was support material that ended up being waste, but like purging waste and priming waste and all that, we had less than 100 grams, which is just insane how efficient that is. So, hey, and we're done. All right, how long did that take? You literally didn't even tell me. Cool. Didn't tell me how long it took. Useful. Useful. All right, again, kind of ignore the wisps and the strings. That's because I turned up the temperature. So let's give this the old enhance feature. It's got the bow line, but you know that's kind of a known thing on the Benchies. That looks significantly better. You can pretty much read the back of that where it says hashtag 3D Benchy. That top looks much better. The bridge looks good. Yeah. Okay. That's what I expect. But I expect that in the time of the one that looks like crap for a clipper printer. So this looks much better, but it took a lot longer to get there. So I don't know. Other than moist film, it looks decent. It's running very hot, which is going to give you the same kind of effect as damp. It should be pretty dry. I think I dried it a couple of days ago. We just finished up some parts like that. Yeah, I am. See, now I'm happy with that, but I'm not happy with the speed. So we'll see. I'm gonna unload the filament because for right now, I'm gonna set this thing aside because I have other testing that I need to do on this table. So yeah, Tanner said hated boat extrusions with a passion. I agree. Actually says Florida though, 10 seconds and it's moist. Yeah, 66% ambient humidity out here for reference. I've had the air conditioner on all day. Are we gonna unload? You overshot your temp. I think this thing needs a good PID tune. I don't think it's properly tuned. Am I supposed to manually unload filament, or is it going to do it for me? I don't know how you're going to do this, Sovol. So it overshot, and now it's cooling back down, which is weird, but fine. Well, my humidity's lower right now. Okay, there it goes. Because I've had an air conditioner on. So, all right, filament unloaded well. It's got a good forming, so I don't got to worry about that too much. Filament sensor appears to work properly, so again, no concerns there. I missed these old spools from Printed Solid. They were much my preferred spool. Yeah. Cool, cool. Definitely need some more tuning. Gonna have to mess around with this machine a little bit. So my plan is off camera. I need to do a couple little things to the Mark 3.5. Then that goes inside. The SV06 will go behind me. Then I think the Trident's gonna come onto the table to get done. So how far did it overshoot by? Like 7C. It went to like 216, 217 as it was trying to get to 210. Why? I don't know. So, Winslow Joyce, is that the first gen printed solid cardboard spool? It is. 1064 is not a very popular color. We keep pretty much one of every printed solid color in inventory at all times. And if it's not a color that's ordered very often, it doesn't get used. So we still have some of the old spools. I loved these old spools, but they're such a pain in the butt for printing solid to do. So, is what it is. So, yeah, it overshot more than I would like. Overall, it's an interesting printer. I think, you know, certainly don't trust the stock, you know, the stock G code. Obviously, do some of your own G code. I'm worried about it dragging the nozzle across the build plate as it does a bit of a cleaning cycle, even though that's what a lot of other printers do. A lot of other printers don't have brass nozzles. I am worried about long-term wear and tear on the nozzle itself. I am particularly worried that it's going to wear quite quickly. So, hello? I accidentally just stopped the extruder cooling fan with my finger, and it hasn't restarted. There it goes. Okay, just take a second for it to restart. I'm trying to see how much wiggles in the tool head. There's no wiggle in the tool head. No real wiggle in the bed. They're using nice wide belts, too. It looks like they're using 9mm belts for the Y-axis. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I know this is easier for them to produce, but I don't know. How many profiles did it come with? It came with 3 pre-sliced models, if that's what you were wondering. It came with a 13-minute Benchy, a 30-minute Benchy, and then another one of these cable strain relief things on the back of it. I am worried about this USB-C cable getting caught on things as you move the machine. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, that's kind of our first look at the SV06 ACE from Sovol. We will be doing some more testing with it. Learning about material profiles and slicers. No clue. I don't use, like, outside of literally live stream testing, I do not use those memory cards for anything. In fact, most of them I just snap in half and then throw away. So I don't know what profiles come with it. I'm assuming it's in Orca Slicer. It tells you to use Orca. Where'd the manual go? There's the manual. Let's see. It tells you to use Orca. Yeah, so it's 2.1.1. It's okay, so it does have Orca on the flash drive. And apparently it's already in the system. So I'm hoping that it is a stock profile inside of Orca. Yeah. At least they're using Orca, and they're not using some rebranded version of Cura or rebranded Orca. They're at least theoretically using mainline Orca Slicer, which is so nice. Companies, stop wasting your time trying to build your own custom slicers that are just clones of other people's slicers. Just integrate into mainline Orca, mainline Prusa. I don't care. Integrate into one of those two. Please and thank you. Follow Sovol's act on this one. That is a really nice thing to see, that's what they did. I would hedge a bet, of course, that you could run pretty much any Ender 3 profile on this that's for Clipper, and it would work fine. So, yeah. Probably what they've been skipping on profiles. SV08 only came with 1. Oh. Once you kind of have a base profile, it's not too bad to build like a, you know, higher layer height or a lower layer height profile. One profile is better than none, man. Hey, look, back in the day, we were lucky if we got that kind of stuff. So, it's a $300 printer. I think if you set your expectations that you're going to spend $300 on this thing, you might be pleasantly surprised. And if you want to take the risk right now, I think they're going at like $280, which isn't bad. That's not a bad price. Obviously, I can't say yes or no to buy this machine at this time. Literally, I've had 2 hours and 30 minutes, basically, of use on this, and literally 3 prints. Unfortunately, their stock, you know, printer, G-code files, whatever, need some tuning. But there are worse things in the world, I think. So, anything else you guys want to see before we call this stream a wrap? So I think we're kind of getting to that point where we could call it a wrap pretty easily. I think we've kind of covered what we need to cover, right? We got the printer out. We got it put together. We did some test prints. We did some troubleshooting on it. I like the screen. The screen is really nice. I like that screen. That screen's got really, really nice viewable angles on it. So even if you're not looking straight on, you can see it. The camera might be a nice feature if that's your kind of thing. The little light is a nice feature. More filament giveaways. Yes, we'll do a giveaway. Let's see. Device information. I'm running firmware version 15. I have no idea what that means. Firmware version 15. That's what it says. It's got a calibrate thing. Oh, hey, it didn't do a PID calibration. This PID calibration, it's not checked. And it takes 12 minutes. Huh. Interesting. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. I will do it before we really start to test this machine. But note, your machine might not actually have any of that. So, ABS and other. Huh. So it only has 2 temperatures. It's got PLA and then ABS and other, which is kind of weird. Mal asks, are there any free connections on the motherboard for tinkerers like extra thermistor cables? Well, they actually provide us with a picture of that motherboard. So there's a USB OTG cable, so that might be valuable to you. There are some open sensors, some open pins. I don't know what they're for. There's a debugging serial port. There's a USB port for something. What exactly, I don't know. But then there's the 2 USB ports up top. And it is independently controlled Z-axis. That's nice to see. There's a waveform switch, which I'm not certain what a waveform switch is, but there you go. If you want to, you can take a quick shot of that, take a quick screenshot of that, and check it for yourself. I don't really want to take it apart. I don't really think there's a big reason to take it apart, to be honest. Okay, yep. Serial port and internal USB, meaning you can pretty much connect to anything. Well, so with a USB-C OTG adapter, you could probably go USB-C to Ethernet. I bet that would work. Yeah, that should work because it's a USB OTG, so USB-C to Ethernet. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't really think there's a big reason to take it apart. I'll put it on its side, but I don't really think there's a huge reason to do this. But, jeez, man, let go of my power cable. Thank you. Good Lord. Russ said he just got his new board in for the +4. That's great to hear, dude. Happy that you got that. So you're gonna do the install yourself? I did not want to do it. So if I was not a content creator, I would have gotten a refund. I would not be doing that one myself. I don't think an individual should have to do that level of maintenance for a company. All right, so how the heck? How do I open this? How the heck do you open this cover? Let me switch it to the top down for you guys. Oh, there's a screw. Okay. Where are my Allen keys? There they are. It's the right size. Retired electrician. Oh, well, hell. You're better at that stuff than I am, boss. Wait, so how much were you yelling at your screen when I was doing that? How much were you yelling at your screen when I was working on my machine? I kind of want to know now. Something tells me you might have been yelling at your screen a little bit more than most people. Well, at least you're qualified. Jeez, what the heck? What size Allen key are you? There you are. Okay, there we are. Alrighty. We didn't do the Dave Jones thing. We turned it on before we took it apart, but I think with the right profiles, and I will have to check if I can just run like a Mark IV's profile on this, or a Mark IV's Plus profile on this. Oh yeah, you got a lot of open space in here. Let me get you guys in there a little bit. Yeah, so you've got you've got a lot. Yeah, literally USB OTG. There's a mode setting one. That's for nozzle adapter, so you have a 12 or 24 volt available inside of it too. It's like that's 12, 24 volt. That's 3-pin USB. I don't know what that is. That's mode switch, USB OTG. Oh, and UART. You get a UART port down there. Oh, that's USB. So that's a USB UART port. Anything hot? Nope. Barely even warm to the touch. There are some other headers over here, but I don't know what they're for. And there's a reset button right there. Very comfortable doing it. You don't want to know. I kind of want to know now, Russ. I kind of want to know how much you were yelling at your screen when I was working on that thing. I kind of want to know. Had I known you were a retired electrician, I would have just called you and had you walk me through it on stream. You should have told me, boss. I would have called you. The only electrician that I know is Ben, and Ben was asleep when I was doing most of that. So it is dual Z. Yeah, so you have Z driver 1, Z driver 2, X and Y. Where's your extruder? Where's the driver for the extruder? You can't... What? Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. How in the heck? Where's the Oh, it's probably on the tool head. Yeah, there's a thing there. So, yeah. Yeah, it's probably right on the tool head. That's fair. That's fair. You're probably right. There you go, though. There's your board. Driver's on the board of the extruder. Okay. Is there a breakout board in the extruder itself? Yep, there is. And stupidly, I didn't think that's where it would be. So this is a RG-4ZV 1.2 for reference. There y'all go. Kind of cool. It's not, it's reasonably, it's not the best cable management, but we got wire ferrules. We've got a bullet connector, which is odd to see, but hey, whatever. Yeah, wire ferrules, connectors, everything's hot glued in place. Yeah, I mean, Russ said, you accomplished your goal. The world took notice. Good job. So what you're saying is I did a bad job. Okay. That's I can read between the lines on that. I can read between the lines on that. I'm well aware that I'm not an electrician. Thankfully, I'm not an idiot, but I'm not an electrician, and yeah, you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Yes, we will give away another roll before we call the stream. I want to get this bolt back in before I forget to do it. All right. Beautiful. And it's got that weird silicone pad thing on the back. I don't know if I like that. I mean, I guess it's nice that we have a nozzle wiper system. This reminds me of like the old Lulzbot days of the felt wipers on the Lulzbot Taz 6. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing we will go with. I always love the left pocket rule. What's the left pocket rule? Actually, did my tool from last month ever get sent? No, I've had issues with my code. My code should be reset, so I should be able to get that out to you pretty quickly now. Jamie says, I'm not an electrician, but I play one on YouTube. Pretty much. Yeah. It's kind of... If you are afraid you may get shot, keep your left hand in your pocket. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I call it the one-hand rule. Right? So you only use one hand, because then you're unlikely to connect circuits. Especially when I'm doing like my Tesla coil builds and stuff like that. I will always, literally, I will like tie a rope around my hand and then tie it to my back belt loop so it stays behind me. I use like a really crappy string in case I fall over and try to, you know, brace myself with it so I can just break it. But it's like that reminder of, hey, stupid, you can get hurt. You can get proper hurt. I hear don't take apart CRTs a lot in YouTube videos, which is interesting because I'm not interested in CRTs. I'm interested in the computer. Yeah, the capacitors inside CRTs can stay charged for years. If they don't have proper bleed down resistors, they can stay charged for years. And those big, like, power filtering caps, yeah, touch it the wrong way and lights out straight up. Like, no chance. There's no chance. I've been hit before I had my coil really well tuned. I got hit by the coil, and that was before we had the input choked. So I have a dual microwave oven transformer Tesla coil. So that should be the first kind of key that it is very DIY. And before the first time I got hit by it was when I realized it's drawing way too much current from the wall. So it was running 8,000 volt input at effectively uncapped amps. It could run as much amperage as it could draw, which was not the right move. Used an asynchronous rotary spark gap. I mean, I still have it. It's buried under some foam insulation right now, but it's still here. It still works. Uses an asynchronous rotary spark gap and some really nice custom capacitors that I had made for it. But yeah, I got hit by it when it was kind of out of tune, and it hurt. I'm like, nope, we're gonna go ahead and limit its input amperage. So when you short out the secondary or the primary, when you short out one of the sides of a mott, it turns into an inductor choke, and will choke it down to about 300 milliamps, which is plenty. That's plenty. So yeah, don't open your PSUs unless you're damn sure you know how to deal with them, as Mollet says. I agree. Yeah. TechDuber said a kid in my electronics class got thrown against a wall discharging a CRT after a teacher told him not to mess with it. Yeah, was probably pretty lucky that he likely had like a screwdriver or something in the way. All right, enough of that yibba yabbering. 48 responses. We're going to go ahead and turn off future responses. I will sort the sheet A to Z. Bring in all the names again. And see who's going to win. Got to shuffle a bunch of times. Yeah, TLDR, don't be unsafe with electronics, please. Please and thank you. Ooh, I saw him here earlier. Did they do the math? Did they do the math? Did they do the math? Looking for the name. I know you're in here. Where is your name? There he is. Yep. All right, James Kerbal. You got yourself a spool of filament. Congrats, broski. I saw you in there earlier. I don't know if you're still there, but I assume you are. Teacher said I told you not to do that and then send him to the nurse's office. I mean, that's literally the right thing to do in that one. So, 2 things I won't do on my own in home improvement: electrical and roof stuff. Yeah. Roof stuff, I won't touch it. Electrical, depending. So, like when we knew the storm was coming, I, ran a bunch of extension cords and rewired all my battery banks to work together. And that's not mains voltage. It's all like lower voltage, but very high amperage because they're, lead batteries or lithium batteries in some of the cases. Those were not in the same packs. Don't worry. I was dealing with some inefficiencies in all of that. But I feel somewhat comfortable with 110, 120. But I'll tell you, I've been zapped before. The 110, 120 hertz kind of buzzes. But yeah, like, I might change out a light switch myself. But that's easy. You figure out where it is. You blow the breaker. You change it out. You're good to go. But like adding an outlitter when we had a sub panel placed here in the garage, no. Professionals can do that. I paid over $1,000 to have that done, yeah, no chance. I'm not going to do that stuff, myself. Technically said that I have done light switches, but triple checked everything was off and have expected fire when I flipped the breaker. Yeah, it can be a little nerve-wracking. And I would say if you live in an area where you can have a handyman come out and do it, or handy person, I should say, do that as long as they're licensed. If not, go ahead and get a real electrician. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but, as Russ would probably tell us, and I'm sure Ben would tell us as well, leave the professional stuff to professionals, right? We had to do testing of that, of the +4. I know it wasn't 100% perfect. I knew that from the beginning, but I was doing the best darn job I could. So that's what I did. As for this printer, stock G-code sucks, pretty much, is the easy way to describe it. It gets better, so I think with some decently tuned profiles, this machine might work well. I think it has some cost-cutting measures. I will be curious to see how they last long-term. Yeah. If you want to get one, affiliate links in the description. This is not an endorsement for this printer. It's simply an unboxing and a first look. So, easy as that. Sporlex says you don't want a DIY heart surgery or a vasectomy. Same with electronics or plumbing. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Great way to put it. All right, y'all. Thanks all for coming out. That's all I got. So, stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. Sorry, my back is really starting to hurt. So, I'm like, my energy's starting to fail as my back starts to hurt. I need to not wear these shoes on set because these shoes do not make my back feel good on set. So, as always, keep making awesome. Leave a like, get subscribed, donate if you want. I don't know, go donate to the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation. I don't know, go have fun. By the way, you're going to see some cool announcements coming next week. We're going to announce what we're doing for the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation this year at Smurf. God, that was an expensive trip. But I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. See you later. Take care.